By the time you realize who they are, it's too late.
This is Jean Grey's moment. How your character has developed from X-Men Apocalypse to now?
Well, quite a lot. You know, the last time we saw Jean was in 1983, I believe. And, you know, now it's 1993. And so there's been 10 years. We haven't aged much. But it's 10 years to kind of catch up on. And while we were rehearsing and going over, you know, what had happened in the time prior to this movie, Simon and I sat down and talked with Ty and talked with James and talked with everyone about, you know, what we imagined to have happened over the course of those 10 years that we haven't seen the characters. But what we basically established is at the beginning of this movie, Jean is in a very, very stable place. You know, she's a professor at Xavier's School for the Gifted. She has been in a relationship with Scott for 10 years. They're very much in love, very much boyfriend-girlfriend. And she is fully in control of her powers and very sure of herself and sure of her kind of place in this school.
What do you think is the main difference between Dark Phoenix and the rest of the movies we've seen in the X-Men universe so far?
I think this movie is far more character-driven, more emotional, more grounded, more gritty. You know, as I said, kind of more of a family drama, psychological thriller than a superhero film. And, you know, the past kind of iteration of Jean Grey in The Last Stand was great, but it was a subplot. And the thing that we really wanted to do and what we felt this kind of storyline needed was for it to be the main plot.
Why do you think Dark Phoenix has become such a big deal among the fans, this storyline in particular, considering that the X-Men have like a lot of material that it could be adapted?
Oh, wow. I mean, for me, I can't speak for everyone, but I know that for me, when I was really, really young and first took a look at a Dark Phoenix comic, I just loved the duality of the character. I loved that she was flawed. I loved that she wasn't this just celebrated superhero in control, totally fine, gonna save the world. She's tormented. And that was just something, I think it just resonated with me straight away because it was just, it's what so many of us go through. And I think that's what kind of makes her special is I think a lot of people can see themselves in Jean. I certainly can.
Well, I would like to know what was it for you as an actress to start as a very responsible and self-centered character and now becoming practically a villain?
You know, it's not really that she's becoming a villain. She is, throughout this movie, right up until the end, she is trying to protect her family and her friends. And it just becomes increasingly harder and harder and harder, especially when she has little Jiminy Crickets in her ear. It becomes, you know, even harder and play that kind of unraveling, and it happens so quickly and how that affects each and every person around her. I think that's a comment on mental illness as well, is not just how it affects the person, but also how it filters down to the family and the friends and what happens there and how the dynamics shift there. And this is a great commentary on that, this movie. I'm really proud of it. But yeah, I wouldn't say she fully becomes a villain. It's this conflict that she's dealing with, but she is by no means good nor evil.
What they don't understand, what they fear, and what they fear, we seek to destroy.